What's up, everybody? So in this video I'm going to be doing a quick summary and review of another one of H.P. Lovecraft's works titled The Color Out of Space. So this one was very entertaining, and with a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's works, it's told through the point of view of a narrator. And this narrator, he was an engineer who was sent up to a part of New England that was going to be getting a reservoir and a dam installed. So he had to go up there and survey the land. Now, when he gets up there, he hears about all these different tales and rumors of some very strange things that happened in the 1860s, I believe. This is around the 1920s, so yeah, I think it was the 1860s. About this one certain spot in the countryside where there's this big patch that they call the blighted area. It's something blighted. I'd have to look into that to get the exact name of this area. Well, anyways, this particular spot, everything is dead. Nothing grows there. There's the remnants of a farmhouse and a well and several trees that were there dead. Now this area, it's not like your typical dead area where everything's brown and whatnot. It's all gray, like a gray rot, and everything's just dust. And the strange thing is that this dust is not disturbed at all by the wind. So the wind blows and it doesn't even blow up this dust. Well, the narrator got a very strange feeling about it when he crossed through that area and went back to the town by a different road. And he gets very curious as to what happened. So he starts asking around, and it turns out that there's a man living on a farm somewhat close by to there who was around when all that stuff happened. So the narrator goes and interviews this farmer, and the farmer tells him that years ago there was a meteor that crashed at his friend's farm where the blighted area is. And this meteor was really, really strange because it just remained hot and wouldn't really cool down or cool off or anything like that. And the meteor itself would shrink in size. And the town gets some professors from a nearby university, geologists and such, to go and check it out. And when they take samples from it, the meteor itself is not really solid. It's kind of, I guess you could say that it has the consistency of molten lava, like what you see in Hawaii when, you know, when that lava is just oozing everywhere. It's kind of got the same consistency as that, but it's not molten. So the professors, they run several tests on the different samples that they take, and they have no idea what this stuff is. And it gives off a very strange color, a color that doesn't even really exist on Earth. And there's not even really a description of it, which is, I find, kind of neat as far as a storytelling device goes. Well, anyways, they go back to the farm to take more samples, and they break off a bigger chunk of it, and inside there are these small little globules of the same strange color, and one of them gets broken open. And after that, very, very bizarre, strange things start happening on the farm, and this takes place over the course of a year. So the meteor lands in summer, and the whole climax of the story doesn't happen until the following summer. Well, anyways, the owner of the farm where the meteor is at, he's noticing very strange things about the local animals and also with his crops that was growing around the farmhouse. So the strange thing with the crops is that they just grow like crazy, and he ends up having the biggest harvest that he ever had, but the crops themselves were bad. They were like rotting from the inside and just disintegrating and tasted really strange. And they had this kind of grayish rot to them. And eventually all of the farm animals succumb to the same sort of disease, where they start to turn gray and pieces of them fall off and just crumble into dust, and they end up dying. Well, during the winter and such, the farmer notices that the animal tracks themselves are very strange, and that at night there's kind of a glow coming from where the meteor was and the well. So this continues on throughout the winter and into the following spring, and everything just starts to get worse. Like plants and stuff like that are just dying. Same thing with the animals, like I mentioned earlier, and the glow just continues to get more and more. And eventually the farmer's wife succumbs to the same type of disease and madness and stuff like that. So the farmer has no idea what to do, so they lock her in the attic. And eventually one of the farmer's sons, same thing happens. And well, eventually the farmer and his entire family die, and 2 of the boys go missing near the well. And the well is kind of where everything, all of this supernatural stuff that's happening is emanating from. And so the first farmer who was being interviewed said that he went to the house, witnessed the death of his friend, and he went upstairs to check on the wife that was still up there. And he unlocks the door, and there's this strange vaporous color, the same color as the meteor and all that leaves the room. And what he finds in there is indescribable. So he shuts the door, locks it again, and just kind of nopes on out of there. And before he leaves, he talks to the dying farmer and hears his last words. And the dying farmer says that there's something wrong there, some sort of thing that came from the meteor that's just sucking the life out of everything. Well, finally, the poor man dies, and the farmer who later on gets interviewed covers him with a tablecloth, and he goes into town to tell everybody what happened. And that farmer returns with several policemen and other men to kind of check out and see what the heck's going on. Well, they go into the house, and it's starting to get dark. The first farmer didn't even want to be there after dark, but they ended up staying. And that night, there's a very bright glow coming from the well. And earlier in the day, while they were investigating, one of the men, the farmer had told them about the well, and so they drained the well, and the water and everything's just strange and off. And one of the policemen climbs into the well with a long stick to try to find the bottom, and there's just this strange slime at the bottom that just keeps going down and down and down, and they can't even find the bottom of the well. Well, anyways, Later that night, there's the glow that's coming from the well. The horses outside are getting really freaked out, and they end up running off. And one of the men starts to go outside to stop them, but the farmer prevents that guy from going outside. And so they're all inside of the farmhouse watching what's going on. And this glow just gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And the trees around the house are moving in very strange ways, since there's no wind at the time to account for that. So everybody gets out of the farmhouse and leaves, and they go up to a nearby hill and stop and turn around to see what the heck's going on still. And the glow just gets extremely bright, and then just all at once vanishes. Well, after that, nobody really wanted to talk about it too much, and eventually the farmhouse just kind of gets really dilapidated, and everything around there ends up dying, and nothing can grow there, and everybody just kind of shuns the place. Well, the farmer who's being interviewed thinks that it's a good thing that they're building the dam and all of that area is going to end up underwater, because he thinks that it would just be better for that stuff to be buried and forgotten. Well, the narrator of the story, he's so traumatized by all of this and the strange goings on there that he ends up resigning from his position. So that's the basic summary of the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like, as I've stated earlier in another video, of just the mystery not being completely solved. Like, we have no idea what the heck exactly was going on, where this meteor came from, what was inside of it. And I think it's better that way. I think it's better to kind of leave some mystery with certain stories, because then, as I've said before, as soon as the mystery's gone and you understand it, it's not nearly as disconcerting or scary. And I think it's the same way with movies. Like, haven't you noticed that whenever they finally reveal the monster and you see it, it's not nearly as scary as it was before when it was unknown? So, anyways, that's my overview of The Color Out of Space. Now, the next video that I'm going to be doing is going to be another combination of two stories, because once again, they're both pretty short. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, and hope you have a great day.